Hi, welcome to Big Time Paranormal. My name is Larry Gonzalez and I'm very grateful that you're here. The reason I'm dressed like this and not my usual place is because I'm actually on the road for my company. So I'm going to be doing this by myself. So let's get on with some of the news for the past week. The first story is a police psychic found body of murdered 11-year-old boy. So let's take a look at that video.
She says she had a vision and knew where to look. Tonight, we're hearing from the woman who found a buried body near the house of missing Menifee boy Terry Smith. KCAL 9's Tom Waite is live in Lake Forest with her story. Tom?
Yeah, that's right. Tonight, Sharon, she is saying she found this body because of that vision. And meanwhile, tomorrow, we're being told by sources it's possible the teen under arrest could be facing charges in his first court appearance. And it's believed that teen is Smith's half-brother.
And it's actually giving me chills again every time. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the building I saw.
Pam Ragland describes the moment she saw Terry Smith's home. She says it matched the building she saw in a vision that would ultimately lead her to the remains of what is believed to be 11-year-old Terry Smith.
And I saw him like under a tree, kind of laying down, and like he was sleeping. And I saw the city was far away, and I knew that there was like a dirt road.
Ragland joined searchers, and with the help of a firefighter, she found Smith's home and the body.
And it was actually my kids that saw, and they said, it was exposed and said, Mommy, there's the animal. And I looked at it and said, oh, that's not an animal.
Police confirmed to me Ragland did find the body and say they questioned and released her. Meanwhile, today at the home, Smith's mother's partner asked the public for privacy.
We're just asking for a little time to grieve. You know, everybody has known Terry, if they're lucky, for 5 minutes. We've known him for 11 years. And we have 11 years of grieving to do. They have 3 days of searching. We appreciate all the pain that they have, but they have to remember ours.
As for Smith's father, who lives out of state, he has barely begun to grieve.
He was a very lovable, bright, child. I just went home.
And at this point, the coroner has not yet identified the remains that were found on that property. As far as the remains go, it's believed that body was not moved, that it was there the whole time. Police and firefighters and volunteers simply did not see it initially when they began their search. Reporting live, I'm Tom Waite, KCAL 9 News.
Okay, that's sad on one case, but it also helps verify that people have some kind of ability, even though some people don't want to take it seriously. The next one is actually, it's an uplifting story. It's a very strange story at the same time. Once in a while you hear about these kind of things happening and I don't know what to make of them, but here's a video that's been in the news for the last few days. Check this out.
We turn now to a story that some say is a true miracle. A woman trapped in the wreckage of a car crash as rescue workers try in vain to free her. Like an answer to a prayer, help arrives just in time, but that is the beginning of the mystery. ABC's John Muller has the story.
This morning, a small Missouri town is looking for the man in this sketch. He's not suspected of a crime, but a miracle.
I think that this time I've actually witnessed a guardian angel at work.
Sunday morning, a drunk driver hit Katie Lenz head on, pinning the 19-year-old in the front seat of her convertible. Her vital signs failing fast, she asked rescue crews to pray with her. That's when first responders say a man who looked like a Catholic priest seemed to appear out of nowhere, despite a 2-mile perimeter blocking the scene.
He began to pray and use the anointing oil. There was a calmness that to me seemed to come over the entire scene.
Another seemingly divine detail, firefighters say their equipment kept failing until that mystery man showed up.
The words were to remain calm, that our tools would now work. Instantaneously at that moment, our neighboring department arrived with fresh extrication tools.
Lenz was saved, but when crews turned around to thank the man, he'd vanished. This morning, Lenz is recovering in the hospital with broken legs and ribs. But some say it could have been worse, if not for that seemingly heavenly hero on the highway.
Whether it was just a priest as an angel, serving as an angel, or an actual angel that came in, he was an angel to all those and to Katie.
For Good Morning America, John Muller, ABC News, New York.
So there you have it. These kind of stories do pop up once in a while about guardian angels or some kind of being that arrives to help someone, and then when they turn around to say thank you, the mysterious person is gone. But like I said, it's not the first time I've heard these stories. What do I make of them? I like to think that they're angels that are watching over us, and in our time of need, they come to our rescue. So that's what I think. Now, to go from there, we're going to actually, I was contacted on Big Time Paranormal on Facebook, and somebody asked me about the International Cryptozoology Museum in New England. And I thought, well, you know what? Maybe some of you didn't know that there was a International Cryptozoology Museum. It's the only one of its kind, from what I understand. So let's check out some video. This was originally on a show called New England, USA, with host Brett Parker. So let's take a look at some of that.
Warren, nice to meet you. How are you? I'm great. Thanks for setting this up. Thanks for having us. This is great.
Welcome to the International Cryptozoology Museum. Only one in the world. In my book, Cryptozoology A to Z, I specifically define cryptozoology as the study of hidden or unknown animals. What we know is museums like this really do come out of personal collections like mine. So in 2003, the museum began with a real organizational effort. In 2009, it moved to downtown Portland. And then last year in 2011, we became a nonprofit and expanded into this area. Since we are the only cryptozoology museum in the world, we have some of the information that is only available here. For instance, in 1959, there were various expeditions looking for Yeti by a man named Tom Slick, a Texas oil and beef millionaire. Brought back in 1959 a real cast of the Yeti that he found in mud. Most of them are found in snow, and for him to actually have found footprints in mud was really a major discovery. His Slick Airlines was used as one of the airlines that the CIA used.
Sounds like the coolest guy on the face of the earth.
Was.
I've never heard, and I'm embarrassed to say I've never heard of this guy.
Well, that's why I wrote my first book on him in 1989, because I kept reading about the Yeti, and there was one line, Tom Slick sponsored an expedition in 1957, or 58, or 59. And I was thinking, well, why doesn't anybody write a book? Why doesn't anybody do research? This guy is amazing.
So there you have it. Now, our next story. Now, if I went into my grandmother's attic, I'm sure I could find a lot of things, which would have been like photographs, old hats, dresses, toys, furniture, anything like that. But I don't think I would ever find something like this.
A bizarre story out of Germany. A 10-year-old boy was rummaging through his grandmother's attic when he came across an incredible discovery. He found a mummy. Dominic Velitis is following this story. Dominic, I would have loved to hear the conversation between the two upon finding this rare mummy. Tell me more.
Priceless, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You couldn't make this one up, could you, Asher? As you mentioned, a 10-year-old Alexander Kettler was up in the attic of his grandmother's house in northern Germany when he discovered what appears at the moment to be a mummy. He found it inside a sarcophagus complete with hieroglyphics, which in turn was packed into a wooden crate. And some other items were found alongside it as well, including a death mask and a canopic jar, which is what the ancient Egyptians used to store removed organs in. Now, the boy's father is convinced that the jar, the death mask and the sarcophagus are fakes, but says he will be loading the mummy up into his car and driving it to Berlin so that experts can take a look. He does believe that the mummy is real. His father apparently travelled to North Africa back in the 1950s, and back then there was still a trade in genuine mummies, partly fueled by a rather strange trend back then for mummy unwrapping parties, where people would go around to their friends' houses and, well, you've guessed it, unwrap a mummy. But if it's real or not, we'll have to wait and see. It's in the hands of the experts now, or possibly even in the trunk of Alexander's dad's car and on the way to Berlin. Asha.
Quite the family history there, Dominic.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much. Dominic Velitis in London.
Okay, there you have it. A mummy. Not a mommy, a mummy. I know in the early days when Egypt was being looked at through European eyes, and they would actually take a lot of these mummies and take them to America or whatever. I also know, and this is really tragic, a lot of times what they would do is if a train was going down the tracks and they were running out of fuel, they would actually take mummy bodies and throw them into the engine for fuel. So you can imagine how many bodies were destroyed, how much was lost in those early days. So thank goodness that we have things in place to protect those kind of artifacts. So yeah. So our next segment is going to be horror hosts.
Hey, looking for a good time?
Yeah! No, I said horror, not whore. Wow. Anyway, the early days of television, especially in the 70s, every city used to have a horror, not whore, horror, a host to for Saturday nights or Friday nights or both. And what they would do is they would dress up in cheesy costumes or whatever and introduce the movie. Of course, you know the most famous one that's still going today. I'm talking about Elvira.
Hello, darling, and welcome to the show. Elvira's the name, and movie hosting's my game. Week after week, I'm good for a shriek as... And there it is, the shriek. Week after week, I'm good for a shriek as I pluck from our vaults another tale of the bizarre.
You know, she's been at it a long time, and I give her a lot of credit because she's built a career on this character, and she has had a lot of fun, and there's a lot of people that are fans of hers. I don't know. I could think of a couple of reasons why they're fans of hers. Anyway, one of the other ones that are going today is Svengoolie. Now, he's out of, I believe, the Chicago area, and he's still going on today. He's been at it for a long time. And you can see him on MeTV. That's M-E-TV. Every Saturday night he hosts pretty good shows, pretty good movies. I watch him once in a while myself. So let's see the introduction to his show.
Calling all stations. Clear the air lanes. Clear all air lanes for the big broadcast.
For the last time, the guys in this movie wear togas. That's why they're not wearing pants. Except him. Knock it out before I call human resources. And the source of many of this movie's characters is Greek mythology, where one would meet a brave young warrior named Jason. Not Friday the 13th Jason. This Jason survived the massacre of his people as a baby, protected by the gods, who warned the evil conqueror that Jason will come for him someday. When he finally meets the adult Jason, who doesn't know who he is, he sends him off on a deadly mission that most likely he will not survive. And Jason travels to the ends of the earth, battling some of the most amazing adversaries ever to spring from the mind of stop-motion master Ray Harryhausen, as he calls upon the gods for help and guidance on his quest to obtain the Golden Fleece, as we travel the world with Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah, it's great to finally have some clean, wholesome heroes that kids can look up to.
Sure, and this is the Harryhausen film with what is probably his best remembered stop-motion achievement, the magnificent battle with the skeleton army that took over 4 months to create.
Astounding, Blaine!
No. So let's join Jason on his quest for the Golden Fleece. Are you familiar with the Golden Fleece?
No.
Well,
Sorry.
here's how it works. You put your valuable broken or unwanted gold in an envelope, send it to me, and I send you back about 1/5 of what it's worth. See, it's the Golden Fleece. Oh, you'll be fleeced, all right. Here comes Jason and the Argonauts. There's some golden chicken, too. It's golden brown, and I don't think you're going to go to the ends of the earth for this. Here comes Jason and the Argonauts. Okay.
A couple real characters. Sense of humor, make you fun. Laugh from the fun that they're actually having. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the one that I used to watch every Saturday night, and then eventually went to Friday and Saturday night. He introduced the movies. He had a sense of humor. He didn't dress up at all. His name was Bob Wilkins. He passed away a few years ago from Alzheimer's, but it doesn't change the fact that I grew up with him, and he introduced me to Frankenstein, the Werewolf, Mummy's Revenge, Godzilla, a lot of the movies, and I owe him a lot. So let's take a look back at the San Francisco Bay Area horror host, Bob Wilkins.
Can you feature that awful creature? Can you feature that ugly creature? Creature features and feature features about creatures. Creature features. Now the strangest thing about this show on tune is its host, Bob Wilkins, and he brings it to you. Creature features, and more creatures, and more features. And the creature gonna get you tonight. You better not turn out your bedroom lights.
Yeah, Bob Wilkins. You know what used to crack me up is if he got a really bad movie playing that night, they would leave little cards on his chair, and the cards would say something like, movie so bad I can't sit here and watch. They made fun. And I know in the early days he used to buy the movies in packages. It would be like three really good movies and one clunker. But they had to show the clunker as part of the package. Today it's a lot different. But back in those days, packages for independent stations were big. So now we're going to cover one convention. Finding conventions on YouTube is really hard. That are coming up. So this one is a simple one. It's just someone that recorded saying, that they're going to be at the Las Vegas Paracon, and that's coming up real soon. I believe it's the 24th, I believe, or the 23rd. I can't remember at the moment, and of course it's here in August. So take a look at a very simple video that comes across really well.
Hi, I'm Karen Rontowski, host of this year's Las Vegas Paracon, being held at Binion's Gambling Hall and Casino August 23rd through 25th. It's going to be fantastic. We have guest speakers including celebrities like Ben Hansen. We have gallery readings, workshops, vendors, and if you're good, you can even try my new time machine if I'm done building it by then. Although I probably won't be, because so far all I've done is pick out the carpet. Bring everybody. It's a family event. Even bring the uncle you can't stand because he always wears his socks with his sandals. You just point him to the UFO table and you know you'll never have to see him again. Look for us at the Las Vegas Paracon on Facebook. Thanks, and see you there.
Okay. So remember, if you have a convention that you want to promote, or a gathering or something like that you want the public to be aware of, contact us. We'll be always happy to show it right here on Worldwide Paranormal Network. And we always could post it on Big Time Paranormal. Now, if you have a team, I would love to see the video of your team. Team out of Modesto contacted me. They're apparently putting together a video to show right here on Worldwide Paranormal Network, and I'll be posting on Big Time Paranormal on Facebook. I'm saying paranormal so much, this guy tongue twister by saying it right. But I want you to know that each and every week we'll try to bring the best for you and try to make things lively for you. So until next week, remember, today is your day. Go out and make it happen. We'll see you next week.